Behind the laughter that defined a generation, one confrontation pushed Carol Burnett further than anyone could have imagined. For decades, Carol Burnett has been celebrated as the warm, witty face of American comedy, an entertainer whose charm seemed impossible to shake. But as any reporter following her career closely can tell you, the glow of show business often hides moments of real tension. And in Burnett's long-running career, one particular clash has captured more attention than almost anything else tied to her legacy. It wasn't a publicity stunt, nor was it a minor disagreement. Sources who witnessed the moment say it was one of the most serious, emotionally charged confrontations in her professional life. One that pushed Burnett to draw a hard line few expected from television's most beloved performer. As we revisit her rise, her pressures, and her challenges, it becomes clear that this story isn't about pettiness or fame. It's about a boundary crossed, a breaking point reached, and a decision that stunned even those closest to her. And while the public continues to speculate about who she truly hated more than anyone, the truth, as always, is layered, complicated, and surprisingly human. This report examines the moments that built toward that clash and the one moment that defined it. To understand the intensity of the confrontation, you first have to understand the power Carol Burnett earned long before it happened. Carol Burnett's climb from a challenging childhood to national recognition is a story journalists have examined for decades, and for good reason. She wasn't handed a spot in entertainment. She fought through personal instability, financial struggle, and a world that rarely gave women the lead in comedy. By the time the Carol Burnett Show premiered in 1967, she had already reshaped expectations for female performers on television. She became known not only for her impeccable comedic timing, but for her ability to command a room, take ownership of her material, and elevate the people around her. Reporters covering Hollywood at the time noted Burnett's unusual combination of gentleness and authority. Off camera, she was precise, organized, and intensely protective of the show's quality. On camera, she was light, spontaneous, and endlessly approachable. This contrast created the foundation for her power in the entertainment industry. She wasn't merely a performer, but a leader whose approval or frustration carried significant weight. Understanding this duality is essential, because the moment she finally reached her breaking point didn't come from someone who challenged her talent. It came from someone who undermined her authority. And for Carol Burnett, that was the one line not meant to be crossed. The public saw the smiles, but behind the scenes, Burnett navigated pressures that shaped how she responded to conflict. Covering Burnett's personal life reveals a level of stress invisible to casual viewers. Her upbringing, marked by instability and parental struggles, forced her into a role of responsibility earlier than most. Those who knew her privately say this background made her highly empathetic yet fiercely protective of her emotional space. Even during the peak of her success, she was balancing the demands of motherhood, marriage, and a show that required constant creativity. Reporters following her life noted recurring challenges, particularly involving her daughter Carrie, who faced a difficult fight with addiction during her teenage years. Burnett sought professional help for her, enduring a period where Carrie expressed deep anger, at one point telling her mother she hated her. Burnett later explained this was part of the emotional struggle tied to recovery, but the moment still shook her. These experiences hardened her resolve. They shaped a foundation of resilience that influenced how she managed conflict on set. Anyone who dismissed her professionalism or disrespected her authority wasn't just dealing with a performer. They were dealing with someone who had learned to stand firm, even when it hurt. Which leads directly to the confrontation that would become infamous. The breaking point came when a trusted colleague pushed Burnett further than anyone had before. The most widely documented confrontation in Burnett's career involved Harvey Korman, one of the show's top performers. According to multiple accounts from staffers present during production, tensions began when Korman arrived at rehearsals showing what some described as dismissive and irritable behavior. The show was built on precision and timing, and any disruption, especially from someone as central as Corman, risked derailing the entire production schedule. Burnett, usually patient and composed, attempted to de-escalate the situation, but Corman reportedly continued to push the limits. Witnesses say the energy in the room shifted as Burnett's tone sharpened, moving from warm professionalism to firm authority. When he failed to adjust his behavior, Burnett made a decision few expected. She told him to leave and not come back until he was ready to contribute respectfully. The story has been retold many times, often framed as Burnett hatting Corman in that moment. A more accurate assessment is that she hit a point of absolute frustration, one that stemmed not from dislike, but from disappointment. For someone she trusted to act out publicly was a violation she simply could not overlook. And although they later reconciled, the incident remains the clearest example of Burnett drawing an unmistakable boundary. Another moment of deep emotional impact came from inside her own home. While Burnett's professional clash with Corman was serious, the tension with her daughter Carrie carried an entirely different emotional weight. Reporters covering Burnett through the years have heard her recount the painful period when Carrie struggled with substance dependency as a teenager. During the early stages of her recovery, Carrie lashed out, an expected part of withdrawal and emotional rebuilding, but the words she used left a lasting impression. Burnett disclosed that during one heated moment, Carrie told her she hated her, something that stunned even a woman known for handling extraordinary pressure. From a news perspective, this moment wasn't about literal hatred, but the emotional turbulence tied to recovery and the boundaries Burnett had put in place to protect her daughter's future. The situation strengthened her, but it also revealed how emotionally fragile even the strongest performers can be behind the scenes. Carrie later credited her mother for saving her life. Still, that moment helped shape how Burnett interpreted disrespect, rebellion, or dismissal, whether it came from a teenager working through recovery or a seasoned professional taking advantage of her patience. Each moment reinforced that tolerance, even for Burnett, had limits. Another controversy simmered quietly, involving a move that Burnett reportedly didn't see coming. During Burnett's divorce from producer Joe Hamilton, another issue surfaced, this time involving her co-star Vicki Lawrence. While Burnett and Lawrence maintained a strong professional relationship, reports later suggested that Burnett felt a sense of resentment when Lawrence accepted the lead role in a spin-off built around the Mama character. From an investigative perspective, this wasn't personal animosity. It was about timing and the emotional strain Burnett was under during her divorce. Signing onto the project during such a tumultuous period reportedly left Burnett feeling blindsided. Although no public feud followed, insiders say the situation created an undercurrent of tension that never entirely disappeared. This incident adds another layer to Burnett's boundaries. It wasn't the same intense confrontation she had with Corman, nor the emotional chaos of her daughter's rebellion, but it reinforced a pattern. Burnett reacted strongly when people close to her acted without the transparency she valued. And while she did not express hatred, the emotional weight of the decision lingered. So who did Burnett truly hate? And what does that word even mean in the context of her story? Based on decades of interviews, coverage, and first-hand accounts, Burnett rarely, if ever, used the word hate seriously or literally. Reporters now view the term as shorthand for moments of deep frustration, conflict, or emotional overwhelm. The confrontation with Harvey Corman stands as the closest example of Burnett reaching her limit with another adult. In that moment, she displayed a firmness that surprised her colleagues and demonstrated that even the friendliest entertainers have boundaries they won't allow others to cross. When looking at her clashes with family, colleagues, and industry pressures, a pattern emerges. Burnett wasn't someone who held grudges. She wasn't someone who cut ties lightly. But when lines were crossed, disrespect, emotional harm, lack of accountability, her reaction was sharp and unmistakably firm. This clarity helps separate the headline-level drama from the deeper truth. Burnett didn't hate easily. She defended herself when she needed to. In professional terms, the person she came closest to hating was the one who challenged her authority at the height of her career. And that confrontation, fueled not by spite but by disappointment, remains one of the most defining moments in her behind-the-scenes story. In the end, the real story isn't about hatred. It's about the moment Burnett proved she wasn't someone to underestimate. Looking back through the lens of decades of reporting, it's clear that Carol Burnett's legacy was shaped not only by her humor, but by her strength. The confrontation that fans still discuss today wasn't a feud rooted in long-term hostility. It was a decisive moment where Burnett protected her craft, her team, and her integrity. From personal struggles to professional disappointments, she learned when to be gentle and when to stand firm. The person she truly hated is less important than the reason she drew the line and the message it sent. Burnett's resilience, both on and off camera, is the real story behind the headline. And for viewers who only knew her as the woman who made them laugh, moments like these remind us that even the brightest performers carry battles the public rarely sees.